Good morning. My name is Patricia Hutchinson. I'm with the Arizona Geographic Alliance, and this is a first grade lesson. We'll take 1 to 2 class periods. Always give yourself some room. You don't know what kind of class you have or what time of day or what kind of day you're having. Anyway, the lesson's called Chester the Nester Laid an Egg, or How the Bald Eagle Became Our National Symbol. First of all, before you go any further, you might go Chester. Well, Chester doesn't lay an egg. But that could be future discussions with a first grade class. Let's move on here. The overview for this lesson is after the Revolutionary War. The founding fathers of our country met in Philadelphia to create a national constitution, a document of rights and responsibilities for our country. This would lead us into the path of becoming the United States of America. And in this lesson, students will learn, through the reading of a fictional story, how the bald eagle reflects characteristics that also represent this country. Materials, Chester the Nester Laid the Egg is in this PowerPoint. There's an American Bald Eagle worksheet, an answer key, and images are actual symbols to show students what a symbol actually is. Stop sign, a peace symbol, crosswalk, men and women's restroom icons, etc. There's an American colonies map, and you'll need colored pencils for map work. I would say colored pencils. I would say not markers. Colored pencils, they look better. And a copy of the Constitution. And the objectives of the lesson, the student will be able to understand the difference between a true story and historical fiction, recognize the 13 colonies on a map, and describe the attributes of the American bald eagle as a symbol. On session 1, the anticipatory set would be, what does the word symbol mean? This may be really unfamiliar since this is a first grade lesson. Have students share their answers. What is a symbol? Explain that it represents something. Show a few images or actual symbols. You can find them anywhere. Walk around your school, look at crosswalks. Again, have the students share their answers. And then share an image of the bald eagle by showing the first slide of the PowerPoint. And ask the question, why do you suppose the bald eagle is a symbol? And why would he be the symbol of our country? Then you go on and continue the lesson by reading the short story on the PowerPoint called Chester the Nester Laid an Egg. And I will read that to you. Chester the Nester laid an egg, how the bald eagle became our national symbol. And by the way, I have to tell you, this story came out this summer. I knew I had to write a lesson. I'm walking around the streets of Boston, looking at headstones, and all of a sudden Chester the Nester Laid an Egg just popped into my head. So blame this lesson on Boston. The year was 1787. It had been a busy year for the young country, but it was also busy in the forest. This was the year that Chester the Nester laid an egg. Chester lived in the beautiful forest of central Pennsylvania. He was a very proud parent, and he carefully watched over his young egg. Chester sat on the egg and watched it carefully day and night. He wanted to be a good father. Meanwhile, down in the city of Philadelphia, another group of fathers were nurturing and protecting another young baby. This baby was called the Constitution. This idea would help us become a strong and powerful country. We had won a war against England, but now we needed a government. Chester knew that his egg would become a fine young bird. He would become a young bald eagle that would make a parent proud. The bird would have excellent vision, would be large and strong, and command attention. He would be fearless. He would represent freedom. He would become a powerful leader of the forest. Our founding fathers also had a very important baby to protect, our country. The Constitution, which is a set of rules that our country follows, was accepted on September 13th, 1788, and the United States of America came to life. Chester's egg grew and grew. It grew bigger and stronger. The baby eagle inside the eggshell knew that he had important things to do. Then one day, the little eagle hatched. The young eagle grew strong. One day he decided it was time to try his wings. So he bravely pushed off the nest. He headed into the morning sunshine and flew south towards Philadelphia. In the distance, he saw a beautiful building. The young eagle decided to fly around it. As he circled the roof, he saw a group of men looking up at the sky and waving their hands in excitement. The young bald eagle thought he heard the words, "our national symbol." But it was late, and Chester would get worried. The young eagle returned to the forest. The founding fathers of the United States in 1782 chose the American bald eagle as our national symbol because, unlike other eagle species, the bald eagle alone is native to the United States. The bald eagle was first shown on the U.S. Great Seal in 1782. Maybe this is Chester the Nestor's son. And here's a picture of the Constitution, just so the kids can see that, yes, there is an actual document. And if you can enlarge it, they can see that they couldn't read a word on it because they haven't had cursive yet. And a painting of the Founding Fathers. And the end. Now, the one thing I want you to notice about the story, and I hope you did notice when you were listening to it, is that a lot of the words are underlined in red. And that will help students know that those are words that are important and set them up for what they'll do later on in the lesson. Ask students if they think this is a true story. Like I said, Chester would not lay an egg, but why or why not? Inform students that this is a fictional story about Chester. Ask the students if they have any idea what fiction means. And most of them come up with some kind of version, maybe telling a story to mom and dad, telling a story to a friend, knowing that most Disney movies are fiction. Then ask what part of the story is fiction. Chester laying an egg, there was a father eagle called Chester, and the baby flew around Philadelphia, etc. Is some of the information in the story true? It is. Our story did begin with founding fathers creating a constitution, the correct years of our country beginning. The bald eagle is our national symbol, and so on. If so, then this is called historical fiction. Historical fiction is a pretend story based on true events. In this story, the founding fathers and the Constitution are true events that happened in Philadelphia. Reread the story again. Next, have the students identify characteristics of the bald eagle that are like our American government, and list these on the board. Strong, fearless, powerful, large, commands attention, a leader, grows bigger, important, brave. And then distribute the writing lesson. The students are to use the words in the word box to fill in the blanks. Remind students to follow the conventions of proper letter shape, spelling, and capitalization. And then this is for session 2. That set of activities pretty much fill about a 40-minute period, which pushing what this age child will do anyway. Distribute the map of American colonies and colored pencils to each student. Tell students how we won a war against England to become our own country rather than belonging to England. Project the map of the 13 colonies. Talk about the colonies and how they were divided into 3 regions. Have them look at the legend and figure out where the regions would be. Students will then circle the title with a red-colored pencil, the legend area with a green-colored pencil, and the compass rose with the orange-colored pencil. And these, if you have the complete lesson, then the maps are attached to it. For assessing this lesson in social studies and reading, students will correctly fill in 4 of the 6 statements on the writing page in order to obtain mastery. Students will accurately circle the American colonies map. Mastery will be considered all 3 areas circled correctly. And in writing, students will capitalize all proper nouns and spell the words correctly. Mastery will be considered 80%, which is 6 blanks or higher. And for extensions, you can go to the National Archives and Constitution website, and viewing it, talking about this for this age group is a good extension. A lot of times children, even older children, don't think about the fact that we live out west and the center of our country as far as the lawmaking, Washington, D.C., is in the East Coast, and there's a disconnect there. Get them on the National Archives site and just take a peek. And sources, I wrote the story. The images of the eagle are open clip art, and of course the archives page, and then Founding Fathers, just some pages you can zoom in on. Thank you.